What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my Toronto Raptors basketball preview for 2016-2017. So this will be the official start of the series. I will tonight have up the first five previews on my website written out. The link to that will be in the description below. But just kind of recap the format I'm going to be doing for this whole set of previews. So I'm going to start with my two X factors for each team, and then key players. I said I was going to do two, but I'm going to do as many as I think it requires for each team. If there's five players that are going to make or break a team, those are going to be the five key players. If there's only one, then it'll only be one. But the best case scenario, worst case scenario, and then my overall record prediction for the team for this season. So my first of two X factors for the Raptors is maintaining momentum from last season. This is a team that was unbelievably hot down the stretch last year. They really didn't get beat at home that much. They didn't get beat in the division that much either. A team that I believe had the best record of any team in the East in their division, almost the best record of any team in basketball in their division at 14-2. This is a team coming off a 56-26 record last season that I think can be, I don't know if you would say just as good this season, but maybe better. Who knows? This is a team that's really maintaining their entire starting five from last year, at least to finish off the year. And I think they got some players that are up and coming in Jonas Valanciunas, Norman Powell, and who knows who else might come out of nowhere with this team. A good pickup in Jared Sullinger as well. So my second X factor is getting good play down low. I think this one's a big one. I personally wasn't a huge fan of their draft, of their first round draft pick in Jakob Poeltl. He'll add some quality depth at the center spot long term. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think that they could have really used a stretch four more than anything. Henry Ellenson to me would have been a really good pick for them. That's just my opinion on the deal. But another year progression from Valanciunas I think is going to be a big thing. I'm going to get more into that later though. And then I also think that between Patrick Patterson and Jared Sullinger, they're going to have to come up with some big play at the four. And I really do like the pickup of Sullinger. I think that'll be very, very big for them this year. So first of my three key players, I'm going to start with Kyle Lowry. So Lowry, all-star last season, part of an all-star backcourt between him and DeMar DeRozan. I'm just going to say ahead of time I don't have DeMar DeRozan as one of my key players. But Lowry, a guy that, while he was a little bit inconsistent last season, really established himself as, maybe not a top 5 point guard in this league. At times he was, but definitely like a top 8, no doubt, easily top 10. Consistency is going to be a big thing out of him this year. His shot came and went in the playoffs last year. I think for Toronto to be successful, especially in the playoffs, you can't have Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, especially in the first two rounds, just disappear from games like they did. It's not something I'd be too worried about. I think that was just kind of inexperience in the playoffs. But again, consistency is going to be a big factor with this team. I'm going to talk about it a lot because I think it's an important thing with them. Second key player, Jonas Valanciunas. I mentioned him a little bit earlier. Like I said, I think another year progression out of him is going to be big for them this year. This is a guy that really has progressed every single year in the league so far. Averaged 12.8 points per game last year. I believe he also had his best rebounding total in the league last year with 9.1 rebounds per game, although he did only play 60 games last year, so hopefully a full season out of him this year will be big for Toronto. I believe he also experienced he had a little bit of injury troubles in the playoffs as well, which hurt them. And also, down low, Bismack Biyombo's gone, so that little insurance policy at center is no longer there. He came up big in the playoffs while Valanciunas was not present. And again, between Jakob Poeltl, I think he'll come up big and establish himself as the second center for the Toronto Raptors. But my third key player, and I really think this dude could develop into a very, 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 very solid sixth man this year, and that's Norman Powell. In my opinion, he was the best second-round pick, at least so far out of the 2015 NBA draft. Yes, that's correct. Again, was very, very, very big at the end of the 2015-16 season for the Raptors. Backing up DeRozan, I think he'll be invaluable for the Raptors this year. If you don't know that name yet, go ahead and get to know it. So my best case scenario for the Raptors, I don't think a first place finish is in the works this year. I just think Cleveland's too ready to make that happen. If nothing else, then maybe even Boston. But I don't think that's gonna happen, if I'm honest. Best case scenario, though, I think would be a second place finish and a berth in the NBA Finals. There's no doubt about there's no doubt in my mind that if the Raptors leave it all on the floor in a consistent 7-game series, like I said, best case scenario possible, yes, I think they could make it to the NBA Finals. Worst case scenario for me is kind of a drop back to the not the bottom half of the Eastern Conference, but close, maybe in the middle of the pack, around a 7th or 8th place finish with a first round loss, getting back to the way the Raptors have seen some of their seasons go for the last 5 years. So my overall record prediction for the Toronto Raptors, I think 54-28 sounds good to me this year. 54-28, it sounds right. I think they'll end up finishing around 3rd in the conference, maybe 2nd again. I think they're kind of in that ballpark, right with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics, and possibly even the Indiana Pacers at the top of the conference. I think those are the 4 best teams right now. And I think with the fact that the Raptors were able to maintain DeMar DeRozan, they were able to, pick up a guy like Jared Sullinger, and even though they lose Biyombo, they're able to pick up a guy like Jakob Poeltl in the draft. And while they pretty much got depth at every single position, I mean, I think if nothing else, they'll maintain the success they had from last year. So that'll pretty much do it for this preview. Let me see the previous page here. So with the Raptors preview down, that means the Boston Celtics are coming up next and the Knicks after that. Like I said, go check out my website. Link to that will be in the description below. That'll have all my early NBA previews. And then also the link to the playlist if you are watching this after some of the other ones come out, then all those will be on that playlist as well. Also, give me a follow on Twitter, tweet SportsFire every single day, and then follow me on Instagram. It's my Best Campuses account for the Stadium Series tour, which is one of the big things I do on YouTube. Give me a follow on there; would help me out a lot. But anyway, that's pretty much it. See ya.